Hello, my name is Patrick Ace Fair, and thank you for coming to the meeting. Can I get your name?
Hi, Patrick. My name is Fritz Kelly Edmonds. You can go ahead and just call me Fritz.
Okay, well, it's nice to meet you, Fritz.
Nice to meet you too.
So, I understand that you did sign a informed consent sheet prior to this meeting, but I want to go over confidentiality one more time, if that's okay with you. So, if you do have any questions, please let me know. I am a student counselor, so I am under supervision. If you do wish to request somebody to be in this room with me or to be within the meeting as a whole, we can easily arrange for that.
Okay.
So with confidentiality, there's going to be some major parts to it. I will try and run through them as best as I can and as simple as I can. The
Okay.
first part about confidentiality, anything said within this meeting will stay in the meeting. So if you tell me anything or I tell you anything, I will not say it to anybody else. I will not write it down and I will not distribute it to anybody else unless legally required. And even then, I will let you know prior to whether it's court subpoenaed or if it's just mandated for whatever reason. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, it does.
Uh, Next up is approaching each other outside of the meeting or outside of just general sessions. If you do see me on the street, uh, you are very much welcome to come up and say hi to me, but I will be unable to actually approach you and say hi to you. Uh, this means if you want to initiate a conversation, it would be based on your actions, your decisions, but not based upon mine.
Okay.
What this does, it creates a better connection between client and counselor, as well as it does not show anybody else, whether it's family, friends, or just standard by people who are just standing by, that we do have a counseling relationship, and that would break confidentiality. Does that make sense?
It does.
Uh, Next thing that I would like to go over is stuff about minors. I know that you are way above the age of 18, but I want to address it for any future reference. Anybody who is under the age of 13, they are unable to truly consent to distribution of information because if their parents request for any information that is deemed necessary, I will have to distribute that. But if you're over the age of 14 to age 17, 18 being the cutoff, uh, there will be some content which I will be unable to share based upon their own consent. Uh, and this would either be to parents, guardian, or of any other relevant people.
Okay.
Uh, as for you, I don't think that is much of a worry.
It's not.
But once again, if it is mandated, I will let you know prior to.
Okay. Thank you.
So now that we got all the legal talk out of the way, and if you do have any questions, please let me know. You have my work email, so even when it's off hours or even outside of session, just shoot an email to me.
Okay. I will. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
So once again, I'm a counseling student, but I want to make as good of a connection with you. And I want to start it off by asking why you're here.
I just feel lost. I don't know what to do. I feel lost in the sauce.
Could you go more into that? I don't quite get it.
Well, like, I just feel like I have my hands tied and I'm blindfolded. That's what I feel like. I feel like I have to move forward, but I don't know what forward is with a blindfolded, metaphorically, if that makes sense. It doesn't even make sense to me.
Now, what's making you feel like this? Is it like school or what do you think the issue is?
I mean, I guess it could be school. I guess it could be work. Works. I work multiple jobs. Um, it's I don't know what the next move is. Well, I know what the next move should be. I just don't know what the right next move is.
Okay. So you mentioned school, you mentioned work. Tell me a bit about school. How's that going for you?
I'm a master's student in my third semester of my program. I'm in clinical mental health counseling. Um, I've been doing what I can at the program. I've been working as hard as I can work. Um, I mean, I have a 4.0, so I'd like to say that I'm doing okay. You
That's
know,
really good.
thank you. Yeah, it's a 4.0. I mean, I'm not even trying to sound chauvinistic or like brash, but I mean, it's almost, I kind of like try to detach from it, just stay humble. So, yeah.
So that's as best as you can get in college, because unlike high school, you can't get above 4.0. So that's really good. So now that we see that school is going well for you, tell me about these works. Tell me about these jobs.
So, I'm just going to talk about an order of difficulty. Um, the one job that takes up the majority of my time, it's a 32-hour a week part-time job, is at a residential facility slash psychiatric hospital. It doubles as both. Um, and I'm in charge of providing psychoeducation for them in the morning and provision and care. And if I work overnight, I'm just in charge of getting their day started and helping them develop care plans for the day so that after I leave, since I work overnights, the day shift and the evening shift can like enact the care plans that I give them. Since the way it works is overnight gets the day started and organized, and the day shift just works off what overnight gives them, and then the evening shift does the best they can to finish the day. Which means that since I mainly work overnights, I have a large responsibility to uh, get the kids day started because it's a residential facility for children ages like 7 to 18, and I try my best there, and it's a lot. Then I have another job. I work a graduate assistantship for the school that I'm studying at, and I'm a student success coach. What I do is I get assigned a list of students. I think in past semesters I've been assigned 40 students a week. This
Oh my.
one, this one is a lot. It's a lot easier this semester. I only have around 20, 28, I think. But what I do is I get a student who's either just starting college again after a hiatus, or is in danger of failing out of college. And my job is to keep them motivated, keep them keep them in school, give them a career plan, and not a career plan. Well, sometimes it's a career plan if they ever talk about, hey, I don't know what to do with my life. So I give them some like light career counseling. I am not licensed, so I can't give them full career counseling,
Mhm.
but I give them foundations. And whenever it gets too bad, I just recommend them to go over to our career center. But that aside, I just essentially give them like motivation to keep going. And I tend to go over and beyond for them too, since a lot of them expect me to be the bad guy who's supposed to just say, "You're failing, you're a disappointment." So I do the best I can to not do that, not be that, and help them out as best as I can, if that makes sense.
That
Those
does.
are jobs.
So you said you put them in order of difficulty. I would assume that the first one is the more difficult of the two, the psychiatric hospital.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Now, this is just me being more of an empirical type of person. If you were to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, one being the easiest job you've had, 10 being the most difficult, where would you place that for the psychiatric hospital?
So on a good day, it's a 7. On a really bad day, it's a 15.
Oh, oh, yeah, that breaks the
So
scale.
yeah, mm, easily. And the thing is, you can't control whether it's a good or bad day. Sometimes the kids just wake up just just picking violence. They just wake up as if, you know what, I'm not gonna cooperate today. I'm gonna tear everything off the walls. And now me, who's just it's just a day of work. Now all of a sudden it's a stressful day of work. And then there's some days where the kids are like, you know what, kumbaya. I'm gonna be very peaceful today. And then those are the days they come by once in a blue moon. But when they come, I'm very appreciative of them. So you never know. So like I said, on a good day, it's a 7. On a bad day, it's a 15.
Okay. And as for the success center, I would say it's lower, but I want you to give me your answer.
On a bad day, it's a 3. On a great day, it's a 0. As a matter of fact, the success center job is a stress reliever.
Okay. And how many hours do you work for the stress center? I know you said 32 for the psychiatric hospital.
20 a week, but I do some overtime to catch up on work. So
Okay.
between 20 and 25 a week.
So from what it sounds like, you have a lot of, pardon me, I just have a nasty cough.
Understand?
So from what it sounds like, a lot of your difficulty comes from the first job. Can you give me like 5 descriptor words of how you would like describe it?
Stressful, engaging, rewarding. Um, rewarding with like a asterisk because like it can be rewarding, and then other
Mhm.
day very draining. So rewarding slash draining for one because that just depends on the day. I can't put both because that means both will make it consistent, and it's not consistently rewarding nor is it consistently draining. It's a toss up. So, like I said, stressful, engaging because you have to be. You can't like slouch. You can't slack off. You have to be present 24/7, or something bad's gonna happen behind your back. So you're like constantly alert, and you can't afford to slack off. And then, yeah,
If
I
you can't
think
give
the
5, you've given enough.
okay. But to just the other two, I'd probably have to say I don't think any other words come to mind because those 3.5 words sum it up actually. But I think if I were to give it one more, I'd say very consumptuous because it takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of brain power to get through. It is a huge vacuum of my week.
I like the word consumptuous. It's big. It means a whole lot, especially because you're talking about how your time, your energy, and I want to say because you said your entire life, correct?
What do you mean?
The your work with the psychiatric facility being like almost all consuming, taking your
Yeah,
time, energy, effort.
time, energy, and brain power.
And so, with that being said, I want to go back to the start of the conversation and how you said you felt lost, how you felt like there's no direction because you don't know where to look because you can't see. Have you felt this way before?
I actually have the closest I could. Actually, yeah, I definitely have. Yeah, I have.
Okay. Can you go more into that?
This was around towards the tail end of high school. Um, prior to being in grad school, my undergraduate career was extended because of a major change, or change of majors, major change on something else completely.
Mm-hmm.
But I played football in college, American gridiron football, for about 5 years.
Okay.
And prior to that, I played football in high school for 3 years. And before that, I never played football before. So as opposed to my teammates who have been playing little league, I never played up until high school. So it put me at a severe disadvantage. And I was getting worried towards the tail end of whether or not I'd be able to get into college with athletic scholarship money. So I was very, very worried. I was towards the tail end of my junior year. I started like cram studying for SATs. I'm talking 6 hour study sessions a day. I changed up my diet just so I could like try to eat brain food so that I could study better. So that because coaches are impressed by high SAT scores.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would study. I would go to like CrossFit sessions 50 minutes across town because I was raised in Philly. And I would like scrounge up money to get on the subway and just take the train just to get to these SAT training sessions. And then I'd go from the not training, the study sessions over to training so that I could improve my athletic ability as well. So I worked incredibly hard just to show colleges, hey, recruit me. I'll play football for you guys, please. And because the college recruitment process is so stretched out and it's almost like you're being fed little pieces of kibble. as opposed to full meals, you never know what's going to happen next. Because college coaches are very, very, very stingy with their time and energy. So you can be working your butt off and not get anything in the end. And it was the lack of like confirmation of what I should do next was very, very anxiety inducing. It's kind of how I feel now. I don't know what to, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I have candidacy coming up for my program and I have to pick a place for practicum and I don't know where to pick because I can't give up my jobs because I'm using them to pay for school. So I don't know what to give up. Just like in high school, honestly, I didn't know where to go to continue my athletic and like academic career. And I don't know nowadays, I don't know what to drop for practicum. I don't know what I'm doing. Just like in high school, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. A lot of these things are very much parallel with each other. Not knowing what to do next for school, not knowing what to do next with your hobbies, not knowing what to do next with your career, and most importantly, because we are looking, sad to say, in the career aspect, uh, you are trying to figure out what to do next, especially with education. Now, whenever you were in high school and you were like in this scenario, did you feel like you had to drop anything? Did you feel like you had to rearrange anything in particular? I know you talked about a lot of your struggles with hopping on the train to go across town and scrounging for bus money and so on and so forth. But have you had a time where you had to give up something similar to this?
I had to give up my social life. Uh, I had friends who weren't athletes who constantly went to Center City, Philly. They constantly like hung out, took pictures. I missed out on a lot of senior memories because I chose to work instead. And I chose to just work hard, work out, study. I quite literally worked as hard as I could because I went to a very underprivileged inner city Philly high school that was known for producing less than desirable test scores. So not only was I had to drop my friends because I had to not only fight to get myself above the bar, but I had to fight to beat the assumption that students from my school just weren't meant to succeed.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did succeed from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, especially.
Thank you.
So, with this, you said you have feelings of anxiety, feelings of being lost, and other things of this matter.
Yeah, it's like I said before, hands tied and I'm blindfolded. I have no control. I can't really just up and quit my jobs because I need them to pay for school and pay for where I'm living. I can't just drop out of school because then it'll be hard for me to get back in. I It's not like I'm complaining about what I have to do. I'm complaining about I don't know what to get rid of for the sake of moving forward. I can't just like in high school, I dropped my friends because that was the obvious thing to do. I could either go hang out with you guys at the Dave and Buster's like you want to go to, or I can go study. And I chose to study 100% of the time because that was the clear cut answer. There is no clear cut answer now. What am I going to drop in order for me to be able to better succeed? Because I think the schedule I have is slowly killing me. So I don't know what to drop so that I could
Okay.
move forward.
Well, I can't really give you an answer for that myself, but I want to try and help you get through these feelings of anxiety, feelings of just being generally lost and like being unknowing of the future in particular, and to really have that be the focus for us. Because once again, I don't know your exact life story. I don't know your exact position and what everything means to you and what everything lands in terms of necessity and priority. So I don't want to say, oh, just drop your friends again because I don't know the situation that you're in now, at
I
least not
already
to
dropped
the
them.
fullest extent.
I already dropped them again. I told all the friends that I have, hey, I'm working like 50 to 60 hours a week. I haven't really had a good conversation with them in I think a month since I got engaged. So I already had to make sacrifices just to be here. Now I have to make another one and I don't know what to sacrifice.
Well, Congratulations on getting engaged. I didn't know about that, but that's really that's at least one good thing that I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, that was something that in itself is just an example of what I mean. I had a clear goal. My goal before this, okay, I'm going to pay for school and get this engagement ring. Now that I'm engaged, it's just a loss of another goal. It's a loss of a motivator. And I think when I have a motivator, it's easy for me to make a decision, but I lost one now since I accomplished the goal. Now it's like, okay, what's next? Does that make, I hope this is making sense.
No, it is. It does make sense. Well, I know this is probably going to go a little bit off track, but by you saying that you lost a goal by you finally getting engaged, do you mean that in a more financial or do you mean that in more like a social sense?
Maybe more like in a self sense. It's whenever I'd get tired because over the summer my schedule is worse than it is now. Because instead of working 50 to 60 hours a week, I was working 60 to 70 because I had a job that had 20 more hours per week than where I'm at now. So I was working 80-hour work weeks over the summer while taking grad classes in person 4 to 5 hours a day. It was brutal,
Hmm.
but I was able to get through it because like I'm getting engaged. I'm getting engaged. It's fine. I'll do this. Now it's like the new goal should be I'm going to do practicum. I'm going to do practicum. What do I sacrifice for practicum? Me getting engaged didn't require the sacrifice of a goal, like me having to sacrifice my friends in high school and me having to sacrifice them now. I don't know what I have to give up for me to be able to do practicum because I can't afford to give anything. So it's look like I'm going to have to just add practicum to the list of things I have to do. But I know that if I do that, my quality of work in every sector of my life will probably decrease.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that happening, especially since you stated before how your psychiatric job's also, well, is your primary. Uh, did you say, yeah, you say consumptuous, correct? You don't want that to also be another thing that utterly consumes your life, utterly consumes your happiness, your goals, and everything else.
Yes.
But I want to truly address the feeling of anxieties and fears and things that are really hitting you at this exact moment because they are reappearing from the past because of being unsure of the future. If that
Yes.
sounds correct.
Yes.
Pardon me.
You're fine.
So, one of the biggest things I can say about fearing for the future is probably practicing mindfulness, if you know anything about that.
I don't I do know about it, but I think I'm very mindful of what's happening now. And I think the mindfulness aspect, the awareness of like the dilemma that I'm in is very anxiety inducing.
Hmm. Yeah, you really did put yourself in such a sticky situation where you have these three major factors: school and two other jobs in particular, all kind of weighing upon you, just like you did back in the high school where you had fear of school and the fear of not being able to accomplish your goal of actually playing football, unless that is for the financial gain for that. If I'm mistaken, please let me know.
Yeah, I wanted to get into a football program that would pay for school.
Okay. So the biggest thing I can see from you is the fear of failure, as well as the fear of the future and anxiety that comes with that. Because as you said, you would have to get rid of one, even though you don't know which one to get rid of, because are each one of them is a part of your life as well as part of your livelihood, both through resume and through financial gain.
Yes.
And then academics, you can't really get away from academics, and especially as a student.
Yes.
How far are you into the program, by the way?
I'm about halfway done.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you. It is not easy.
So, with that being said, I want you to really look at these anxieties and see how you can, I don't want to say delay them, but try and calm them down a bit. Although it is like an approaching deadline and approaching everything else, that is almost inevitable. You will have to make a decision soon. But at this point, please focus on just how you're managing things. So I want to go back, even though we have only a few minutes left. I want to go back all the way to the high school years. And I want to ask you, how did you solve this initially to maybe bring me some answers and maybe bring yourself some answers for this?
So in high school, I just I noticed that the stress was lowering my playing quality, and if my playing quality decreases, my chances of getting an offer decrease. So I told myself, Hakuna Matata, I have got to just ignore the stress and just play to the best of my ability. And after I ignored the stress and I just focused on the moment, I was we played a game on national television on Comcast Network. That was our homecoming game. That same night, a coach walked up to me and said, "That was a pretty good game. I want to give you a scholarship offer." And they offered me a full ride. The thing is, the school is less than stellar. So I said, you know what? I'm going to just hold off on accepting this offer yet, but thank you for the offer. They were sending me emails every day saying, "Oh, we like you. We want you to come here." And they were showing love on the internet as well. And the thing about what I realized about the college football recruiting process, if you ever have a son who's in it, is that schools want students that schools want. So once one school started saying, "Hey, we like this kid," other schools are like, "Why do you want this kid? Is there something we should be looking at?" They look at my highlights, they're like, "Oh my God, this kid's kind of good. Okay, you play here. How about you play for us?" The offer wouldn't be as high. And I said, "Okay, never mind. I'll get back to you, coach. I'll get back to you." I ended up getting 15 looks. Looks is when the school looks at you and looks at your offers, but does like looks at your playing ability, but doesn't talk money yet. And I ended up getting actually the most offers in my graduating class at the time. Some of my teammates had like six, seven. I had nine, and which was pretty good. Some full rides for less than stellar schools. The one I'm proud of the most, other than the school I chose to go to, was I had an Ivy League offer.
At 8:57. Again, the final bus to Baldwin Village will be leaving Kansas at 8:57. Thank you.
I apologize for that interruption.
We're gonna cut that out. We're gonna explain that to Grafton, right? We're gonna cut that out for him. Okay.
Sure. Actually, no, I
But
will have time to actually edit this one. So yes, I will.
okay, so I'm gonna snap my fingers. That's when we're starting. We're gonna snap, then we're gonna do a self count to three. Then I'm gonna keep talking. So,
Have fun.
but yeah, I ended up. Uh, I I managed to just hold off. Like I said, my proudest offer was to a Ivy League school. I don't know if you ever heard of Franklin and Marshall in Lancaster, PA. It was a really, I think it was like the first Ivy League in the nation. They were really showing me a lot of love over there, but the price was just way too high.
Mhm.
And the Division 3 football works, they don't give much money. So I would be like, I mean, like in six-figure debt by my sophomore year at an Ivy League school. So I was just, no, we're not doing that. Then I got an offer at Cal, and Cal was the only school that was good that offered a decent amount of money because the schools that offered a lot of money were bad, and the schools that were good didn't offer much money. So Cal was the only school that said we'll pay for 75% of your tuition, and I said deal, instant deal, and then that's where I ended up going. So I guess in high school it was just solved by me just focusing on the moment, and then things just came to me. I guess.
Okay, that's very interesting, and I'm glad you brought up that whole experience because I feel like it's another good time to do that again. To really look past the stress, focus on where you are now, and focus on the items at hand because something good will happen, which is very hopeful of me, and probably very hopeful of you to assume something like that. But if you're able to put your nose to the grindstone and truly grind out all these offers, you might be able to grind out something for your upcoming scenario. or your incoming situation more so.
I think I could just mellow out a bit and not stress so much because I have been stressing. I'm gonna admit some of it's a little bit excessive on my part. That happens, but
Well, I don't want to say just don't think about it, just don't stress about it, because that's not really professional and that's definitely not realistic. So, what I will say is to try and get some like stress relief to help mellow yourself out a little bit to so you can refocus on what's necessary. Because what it sounds like, you sound very prioritized with your decisions and with how you're organizing your schedule. But I want you to make sure that you're doing the best of your own ability to do these things. Does that make sense?
yes.
All right. Well, now that we see that our session has a few minutes left, do you have any questions for me?
No, I think I walked out of this meeting with a better idea of what I should be doing. I should just mellow out. So I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you for coming to the office. If you have any questions, please contact me or my supervisor at hand. Uh, but I would like to see you again just to check in on how things are and to see if you did mellow out and see how the situation progresses.
Okay. You'll be hearing from me again. You'll definitely be hearing from me.
Oh, yeah.
No, thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, hopefully you have a good day and get some rest.
I need some rest. I will take some rest. Thank you very much.
All right. Goodbye.
Adios.